show. Always Irish show. Always Irish show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison! I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing! Doing a damn thing! The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome back, everybody, to a Notre Dame versus Central Michigan / and or Always Irish Tailgate Preview Time edition of the Always Irish Morning Show. Oh, baby. I'm telling you what, you guys. Life comes at you fast. Football comes at you fast. It always happens every year. It just amazes me. The dog days of summer and we're begging for football. There ain't nothing going on. You're jonesing for that dopamine hit of football. And you got to wait and you're just, where's football? We need football. And then the season starts and then you're a month in before you know it. It's wild every year, man. And I'm just so glad football's back and having a full weekend of NFL too. Man, it's just, America's better when it's football time, man. We just are. Like, America's a better place during football time. It's like the one thing we can agree on, even if we hate each other's teams. We love football, damn it. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for being here. We got some callers today. Perhaps they want to talk about what they want to see Notre Dame accomplish against Central. Maybe they want to ask questions about the tailgate, whatever you want to do. And so I got a couple. J Carr, very funny. That's a good one. And so I'm glad I never tried that, J Carr, because with my personality and the way I already am, I'd like it too much. That's one thing I've never tried because I knew I'd like it. So I avoided it my whole life because I knew I'd like it too much. So you're not going to get me on that one, although that is a funny joke. So let's get into this. I got a couple things I want to go over this morning, where my mind's at as we enter this ball game, and a couple details about the tailgate as well. And I want to give the callers a chance, and there's some good chats. So we got a lot cooking, folks. Thanks for being here this morning on YouTube. Obviously, that's where the program is housed. You all know that. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet. I appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Johnny out as well. Notifications on there where you're alerted every time a new episode drops. I know you don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish Rat, Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishndy@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want it. You can get it. The call-in lines. Baby, they are popping. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you want to in the future, heard and seen about this ball game. Instagram, Facebook, Always Irish Inc. USA Today, Fighting Irish Wire. Read all about it, everything we have to say. I wrote an article late last night. I don't know if it's posted today or not, about breaking down some of what I'm looking for Notre Dame, what I want them to accomplish this week. It's a very unique week with a unique feel to it. A very unique feel to it. Okay, and we're going to get into that. So let's hit a couple of these super chats, and then we'll get into my notes. I want to give you guys your time, though. $5 holler from Paul Conley. Appreciate it. Good morning, Captain John. Looking forward to meeting you at the tailgate. Go Irish. Stay healthy. Yeah, it's on my list of things Notre Dame's got to accomplish this week for sure. $5 holler from Tom. Come on, Tom. I don't want to hear this. Don't do this to me. Hey, John and Always Irish Nation. I was hospitalized yesterday. I could use the prayers. Much appreciated. Tom, I really appreciate the $5 holler. I'm really disappointed to hear that for you. We'll get you a candle lit at the grotto today. So that's what we'll do. I got a little candle network. So whenever somebody in my network emails me or whatever, John, I can appreciate some prayers or support from your group. I just send a couple texts over to South Bend, and then my people know they got a candle lit at the grotto with their thoughts and their prayers in mind. So we will be able to get that done for you, Tom. Happy to do it on your behalf, brother. $20 holler from the V1 Rotate V2. NC State fans are crybabies and are delusional. They're saying we didn't lose to a good ND. We lost to ourselves. I guess they outplayed us all game outside 2 plays. I don't know who they thought they were, John. You know, V1, thank you for the $20 holler. You are not the first person that I've had this discussion with. There are a lot of Notre Dame people on Twitter that are saying, they reached out to me even and go, John, have you seen these? I didn't even know NC State had a bunch of loyal, like foaming at the mouth loyal fans, but they're all out and they're not over the game and they're breaking it all down, finding ways to say we were really better than Notre Dame or we're the same team. They just made a couple more plays. There's no real difference between the two. I've seen a lot of that too, and they won't let it go. They won't let it go. I've seen it all week. And you know what my response to that is? I don't care. I don't care. You aren't Michigan. You're not like USC. I'm not. You're not LSU people. I have no axe to grind against NC State people. Like all those other groups, I have reasons that I want to go at them and their people. I have nothing against NC State. So I guess if they want to get mad and stress out about it and do all, they can do that all they want. I'm not even taking the energy to like engage and tell them they're ridiculous because it's NC State people. Like my petty excitement, the petty joy I get out of trolling an LSU person when Kelly messes up or a Michigan thing or whatever. I don't have that with them. It's not even worth my time. So here's what I would suggest to them. Any of those people that are upset and they're talking about all that, the NC State side, here's the best thing you could do. Not sit there and cry about losing to Notre Dame and all this. Go ahead and play really good defense and have a great record this year, and you'll help us both out. There you go. There's Johnny Problem Solver. Then we all win. Why don't you channel that frustration to say, if we think we're so good, we're not going to lose again in the regular season or whatever. Help yourself out and help Notre Dame straight the schedule out. There you go. Johnny Problem Solver. Go ahead and do that. But I'm just telling you, I don't have it in me to go back and forth with these people. It's NC State, bro. I didn't even know you had a loyal, loud fan base that cared that much. I found it out this week. Not even before the game. I found all that out after the game. Just kind of weird, man. So, whatever. I don't know. And so, that's just a little weird. All right, let's move on to this. The tailgate. I posted on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Twitter, the little map of where the North lot is. I'm sorry, you guys. If you can't figure it out when Touchdown Jesus is sitting right there, kitty corner from the lot, I don't know what to do for you. He's your marking point, all right? Kitty corner off of Touchdown Jesus. I got news for you. You can't miss him. You can't miss him. It's a main part of campus. So look at that map, save the picture in your phone or whatever if you're going around. I've had people ask me, John, did you want to be in the stadium lot with the action, or did you choose to go kind of off on your own to the North lot? Yeah, I chose the North lot for a reason. I don't like the congestion in that stadium lot. I'm not killing 45 minutes trying to take a leak in the porta potty and you can't move and there's people, everybody's elbowing everybody. That ain't my scene. I need a little room to operate. Johnny, I need room to operate. I don't like being all I need a little room to move and groove. All right? So that's why we picked the North lot. Little more space, less congested. It's on the way by the stadium. There's no reason not to swing by, but we did do that on purpose. Oh, man. And again, we're going to be there early in the morning. I'm going to have a huge flag. You're not going to be able to miss it. And the other thing about that stadium lot, it's much harder to pull in a group. I'm having a big tailgate. This is not one car in our little areas by our trunk. I need space. So we got a bunch of spaces all in a row in the North area to build us this big area. So I'm sorry if that's a little inconvenient for people, but I picked it on purpose because I don't like that congestion in that stadium lot. So that's the deal with that. We're going to have food. We're going to have lots to drink, like giveaways, snacks. We have water, stuff for the kids, all sorts of food. Anything you guys want to bring. But we're going to be ready for you. So come say hi. Have a good day. All right. Okay. So where do I want to start? I'm going to start with this. This is a weird week. It's a weird week. It feels weird to me. The vibes I get are, yeah, Central Michigan, let's just get this over with and move on to whatever next week's going to bring. Okay? And what's weird is, here's what's weird about that. Not a lot of people are openly saying that. Like, I'm not seeing that written out on Twitter or anything like that. Because I think Notre Dame people know, even if that's in their mind, it would be a mistake to get ahead of yourself in that regard. And overlook this game and say, yeah, whatever, let's just get through it and all that and move on. And we're already thinking about Ohio State. I'm not seeing people writing that, but I feel it. That's what's going on. I tell you guys all the time, I don't think Notre Dame. I feel Notre Dame. That's what's going on. Everybody is like, yeah, let's just get this over with and move on and get to next week. But nobody wants to say it because it's bad juju to say it when you haven't played this game yet. But I can feel it. Oh, I can feel it. And that is the vibe. But I do like the fact that not many people want to get so bold to go ahead and start putting that out and get out of yourself on tape, you know, like, and so it's a very, very weird vibe, but I'm going to tell you this, overlooking this game would be a big, big mistake by Notre Dame, a big, big missed opportunity. All right. Now I believe Hartman kind of Marshall and Stanford proofs you in a lot of ways. Like, I don't even know if that's physically possible to do that. What we did with Hartman running the operation, I just think his baseline skill level should make you, even if you're having a bad day, overcome that. But I just, while this game is a mismatch on paper, Notre Dame has a lot of things to work on to get better before Ohio State. To not look at this as a big last tune-up and a big opportunity for Notre Dame to get as good as they could get before Ohio State comes here would be a mistake. For the fans to not look at it that way and for the players not to take it seriously as well. Notre Dame needs to work on what they need to work on. It's the game within the game, just like we talked about with Navy and Tennessee. There's a game inside of a game, and you need to have checklists beyond just winning the game of what we need to accomplish to get better, to put us in the best position to go into this Ohio State week situation. All right. I'm going to give you an example of this. When I say, like, what stuff do I want us to do or to get better, to build up to Ohio State? Here's the deal. It's very hard to work on a ton with line play in these type of games when there's such a size and talent mismatch. It's hard to truly gauge some of that line play a lot of the time. But I'll give you an example of one thing of what I mean. When I'm looking at this game that Notre Dame should be able to win, all the computer models, it's like 98, 99% Notre Dame win percentage. When they run those models for like 100 times, they run the game in a computer model and switch and whatever they do. When they do that, the average score is 48-14. I mean, come on, bro. I'm sorry. I mean, New Hampshire scored 42 on these guys. So I mean, that's what we're looking at. So what do I want us to work on? I'll give you an example of one thing. Feed those wide receivers all day. Build their confidence so they're flying high into Ohio State. There. Like, if you're asking John, what would one of those markers be you're looking at as a game inside the game in this weird dynamic? That's one thing I'm looking for. Offensively, feed those wide receivers. I would love to see them all gain a lot more confidence so they're flying high into Ohio State. Feed Tobias. Throw him deep ball. I want those guys feeling good about themselves. So I would like to feed them this week and build up their confidence as a collective group and some of those individuals so they go into next week feeling great. That's what I would like to see. So, there's an example of some of what I'm looking for. Something else is I kind of want to see this and I kind of don't. If I'm Notre Dame pre-planning for Iowa State, I'm getting as many of those running backs involved as I can to try and confuse who's doing what and what backs blocking and receiving or whatever. I believe that running back group could be a big weapon against Ohio State. I wouldn't mind seeing some stuff with that, little action with that this week. At the same time, I wouldn't mind if Notre Dame held some of it back. But I think getting those guys, as many of them as we have out there as possible, would be wise against Ohio State, because a weapon is a weapon, and making them think about it. And all those guys could break you and test you. I'd like to see some of that. At the same time, if they held it back to Ohio State, fine. But I think those backs in the passing game need to be a part of the approach against Ohio State. I really do. So those are some of the things I'm looking at. Again, I just have to say they played Michigan State 31-7, lost. Michigan State as a legitimate defense. Totally understandable. But New Hampshire, they scored 45, but they gave up 42 to New Hampshire. If you're giving up 42 to them and they were running around on you wild, what could Notre Dame do then? Okay. I'm not trying to denigrate Central. I'm not trying to do that, but we're going to have another one of those weeks where I just say you have to understand it's a lower level opponent with less skill and talent and size than you, and you need to work on what you need to work on. So I don't want to overlook it, but it's positioned in a weird spot. At my tailgate, I don't think a lot of people are going to be talking to me, breaking down the film, how nervous they are about the Central game we're about to go into. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think there's going to be a lot of discussions about the next week. So Notre Dame, you need to just take care of business and get better this week. Don't plateau. You need to get better this week. Okay? So that's some of the stuff that I'm looking for. It's just, I feel a little weird because I feel this dynamic's a little off. And everybody's looking ahead to Ohio State, but nobody really wants to say it and put it out there. But there's just not as much traffic this week on Twitter or whatever about this game. I just feel it. Everybody's holding off. They're waiting for next week. So you better win the game and you better damn stay healthy. That's the other thing. If you're looking at like, John, what could go wrong here in this game? There you go. Losing a starter or two to some dumb injury against Central. I know injuries are injuries. You can't prevent it, but I'm just saying, work on what you need to work on and get Sam on that bench. Work on what you want to work on. Get Sam on that bench. So you got to stay healthy and you just need to make sure you handle your business. And the other thing is, I'm wondering if Notre Dame starts out a little slow. I don't know if there's any hangover for last week with the disruption in the schedule, the physicality. I don't know whether that'll be in play or not. Coming home to an opponent that isn't going to excite anybody, I don't know if that's going to be in play or not, but Notre Dame, again, should be able to overcome all of that with their talent this week. Again, the biggest thing to me, man, 42 points. What could Notre Dame do if they put the throttle down all day? Okay, we should have 80. So I don't know. And then they got a dual threat quarterback. That's one thing to look for. Now, the good news is Notre Dame had to kind of deal with that last week and set things up to pinch that guy in the middle, have somebody spying him, all that Marist, whatever you want to do. This guy is a dual threat guy, and it might be one of their best offensive things is to let this guy wheel and deal and try and move down the field with his legs or whatever. Notre Dame, they're well-versed in all this discipline spying type stuff from last week, from Navy, whatever. They got one receiver, Parker, that's their main guy. There's not a ton happening there. Have your list of things to accomplish. Get them done, stay healthy, and then we can all allow ourselves to start engaging with all that next week's going to be. Have they announced game day yet? You move Clemson to Florida State into the noon window, it's got to be game day at Notre Dame. They're doing Colorado this week. They're not going to do it again the next week. So I think game day, it hadn't been announced. It can't be till after this week, but I think game day's coming. This is a thing. This is a thing. And I'm going to ask this. I had one guy interested, and I don't know if he's still going to do it. If anybody is willing, you could take my tailgate flag, keep it, but you got to get it on game day the next week. I am doing that. So I had one guy, John, I might be willing to get there before the sun comes up to get your flag on the air. I'm doing that. So if anybody's interested and you are going to go to game day, if it's at Notre Dame, and be willing to hold my flag and get it on the air, I'll give you the flag. The first person who's serious about it that's going to do it, I'm going to give them that job. Keep the flag, but you got to get it on game day. That's the best free marketing I could ever have, and a way to use USC, use ESPN to my advantage for once, instead of the way they usually treat us. So if anybody's planning on going to game day and you're going to be at the game this week, I'll give you the flag. Bring it home. It's yours. But you got to get it on the air. I'm sending you a bill. Oh, boy. All right. We had another donation here. Let's see. We got a couple donations. We're going to hit those first. Everybody, 312-900-8815. I want to know what you're looking at this week. 773, you're talking to me. Good morning. (773) used to be talking to me. Call back, 773. What gives? 937, talking to you is like being in heaven. What's going on this morning?
Hey, John, this is your favorite Buckeye fan. How are you?
Good. It's a little bit of an awkward week, man. You can just tell everybody's looking ahead, and everybody knows it's a mistake, but it's natural, and everybody's doing it, but they don't want to say it, but they're already thinking down the road, and it's just kind of a weird vibe that I need Notre Dame to handle the right way. It is. I could feel it. People aren't saying it because they know that's a mistake, but I feel it. I know that's what's going on this week.
I think this week you're not going to learn much about Notre Dame, and go to the tailgate, have a few beers, and just have some fun, be with the family this week. I will say at 4 o'clock, Ohio State plays, and I actually think you will learn a lot about the Buckeyes at 4 o'clock, and I'll tell you why, John. They're playing Western Kentucky, and you can poo-poo about that and say, well, they're nobody. But they did beat South Florida by 3 scores, and they have this quarterback by the name of Alex Reed, and he led all of FBS last year in passing with almost 5,000 yards. And he had the single best production in a game of any quarterback with almost 500 yards passing in the bowl game last year. So he's a legit guy. He's probably going to get drafted in the NFL. And if everybody knows, Ohio State last year struggled with passing teams and passing offenses. So this team, they seem to be a really good passing team, and they seem to really open it up, and they can score points. So it'll be really interesting, and I'm going to be at the game. I'll give you an analysis of it next week leading up to the Buckeye game.
Yeah, it's
going to be really interesting to see if.
Yeah, dude,
Go ahead.
I don't know, man. The reasonable Ohio State people are still, some of them are messaging me behind the scenes being like, John, some real Ohio State people, even against this lesser competition, still have a little anxiety about, defensive line getting pressure, some offensive line stuff. Like, still that quarterback thing is a work in progress, building that rhythm with the wide receivers. Like, there just seems to be a little more instability there or anxiety than I'm used to from your group. Do you agree with that, or are they over worrying, or is that accurate to where your base is at?
I agree with that 100%.
Okay.
I did not really watch the Youngstown State game. I listened to it a little bit, but I did a lot of yard work. To me, you're not going to learn much watching that game. The competition is too lower level to really learn anything. It's kind of like versus the team that you guys played a couple weeks ago, the Tennessee team. But and I think unfortunately for Notre Dame, this week is such a low level game. I think you're not going to learn anything as a fan watching the game this week. Central Michigan, this must be one of their worst teams. Just seeing Michigan State hammer them the way they did.
Yeah.
But I think this week you're going to actually learn a lot about Ohio State, and if there are some vulnerabilities there, because I think if you do see some passing yards, like let's say this team throws 300 yards against the Buckeyes. Well, man, if I'm a Notre Dame fan, I'm licking my chops because they have better receivers in Western Kentucky, So yeah, I would definitely. I think it's an interesting game, especially for the Notre Dame fan base to watch. I think you'll get a little bit of a glimpse into what you could see the next week. I would recommend any fans to watch it to kind of set up for the next week. And maybe just watch the first half if it turns out to be a blowout. But I will be in attendance for that game, and I'll give you kind of my rundown of what I think. A couple of other key notes. Kyle McCourt has been named the starting guy now for the season. So
I did see that.
Quarterback battle is over.
Do you like that? Because now at least you have stability. Like it may not be perfect, not a finished product, but do you like that drama's wrapped up and you at least know who your guy is so everybody could kind of rally behind him and now that's the dude? Like, is there some stability there now?
Yeah, I think I like it, but I'm a little bit disappointed that the other guy didn't perform a little bit better because I do feel like you need more of a run element in the offense through the quarterback in order to open things up. But at this point, we're 1 week. I want my quarterback set for this week's game going into next week's game. I would not want to have that play out this week. I think that's terrible timing.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're just cutting it too close to something that important to have that big of an instability. I agree with you. It's kind of like the clock ran out on that. So I don't know, man. And then I think I think we should get game day as long as both teams take care of business.
Yes.
Because you flex Clemson into that noon window. And it seems like the other big networks are kind of clearing away from trying to compete with that NBC window. So I think they get game day because they're doing Colorado this week. I believe they're not going to go back again. The next week because I think they have another game that whatever. I just think we're going to get it, and then that would bring a lot of extra attention and everything that goes with that.
Right, and I think the idea that they're doing Colorado this week, which is a Fox game, actually, suggests that the writing's on the wall that they didn't have the best game this week, so they're willing to go to another game.
Yeah,
and there's definitely they don't have the best game next week. There's only going to be one top 10 game. So and two top 10 teams are going at it, and that's
man. Listen, here's where I think the Notre Dame fans are trying to be respectful of Central Michigan, but understanding what is likely going to be the dynamic after that. I feel this, and I feel it from the fan base. This is really the first big game of this magnitude in a long, long time. Notre Dame fans feel like they have an actual reason practically to be excited about what might be possible in a way that we haven't had for many, many years because of all the dynamics. Having a quarterback you trust. That is something we have never had entering a big game since Brady Quinn, basically. Like, Ian Book won a lot of games. Did I trust him against the best teams? In no way. No, I did not. So I think for Notre Dame fans, they're already feeling like, man, if ever there is a time, this might be it. You got a good quarterback. It's at home, all that stuff. So that's where Notre Dame fans are going to be starting from. Practically, there is more to make Notre Dame fans feel good other than just blind hope. Hope Kelly figures it out this week, like that kind of thing. The quarterback thing alone helps a lot with that confidence.
Right. Also, I think the national dynamic of what's happening is a big deal. Like all these teams, they're basically out of the top dogs. 7 of the 10 are are all have new quarterbacks and or have some huge turnover of roster. So it's definitely a year which Notre Dame could actually come up and do something.
Yeah, and you know what else too, man? Like think of Kelly's last year where Notre Dame went, they had one loss and it was Cincinnati at home. Kelly couldn't handle it. But that schedule, we had brand names, but they weren't good. So it wasn't Notre Dame's fault that you had like USC on there, but they weren't good or whatever. But this is different. Notre Dame's got marquee opportunities. Like the USC game and the Ohio State game are bona fide, like brand name. You're going to get all the credit or discredit you deserve. And then Clemson, we got to see what they're going to turn into in November. I have questions about them. We'll see how it plays out. They got Florida State coming up. That's an issue for them, the way they've looked so far, I think. But this schedule speaks for itself. So Notre Dame fans aren't going to be able to complain about nothing. You're going to have every opportunity to change the narratives and take control of your own destiny here. And that I like as a Notre Dame fan. You're not beholden to no ranking in some committee. You got the good, tough schedule. Win your games, move up. Don't, and you don't.
Right. And then the other thing that's really in your favor this year is, and I think in Ohio State's favor, is these SEC fans cannot go out and say that they have absolutely the best conference. They might have the best team this year, but there's no way that just seeing what they've done in the first few weeks of the season, they cannot just say they have the flat out the best conference and that it's the toughest schedules and all of this. That's baloney this year. I think we're seeing that on the field. Do you agree with me on that?
I do. And think about it, man. It's just a weird dynamic to the start of the year. If you look at it, I don't think a lot of people figured Alabama would already have a loss. I don't think a lot of people, maybe some did, bought into Florida State, but that was one of those, you got to see it to believe it before you'll buy into them. And then they played great and they deserve all the credit in the world for that performance. But you got that, you got LSU, you got Alabama. Like, I know nobody believes in Texas A&M, but they took an early loss out of conference. And then you have what happened with Clemson right there. The norm that we're used to in the beginning of the year are those teams just being ranked high and not playing anybody. It's all a little different this year. Some of those teams are operating from behind early, and that's a new dynamic, and it affects everybody else.
Right. And, I think kind of the sleeper conference is actually one that's not going to be around next year, and that's the Pac-12.
Yeah.
They have a few teams out there that I think are
dude,
legit,
isn't it funny? It's so funny. It's like, man, the Pac-12 looks pretty good this year. They're all winning. Yeah. And the conference, it's like, what a way to go out, man. What a way to go out. Yeah. It's hilarious. I think I saw that they were the only conference that went undefeated or something in their games so far, or against ranked, some stat like that, where of all the conferences that had a good start to the year, that's the one that isn't going to exist pretty soon in a few months.
Yeah. They only have one loss, I think, right now that's out of conference, and it's Cal barely lost to an SEC school. They lost like 14-12 or something.
Yeah, it's just wild, man. And then that's all going to change. And you know what I don't think I realized? Unless I'm horribly mistaken, does USC play Colorado before Notre Dame? I think they do, a couple weeks before Notre Dame. That is a game I'm going to be really interested in if Colorado keeps kind of operating the way they do with that vibe. I am interested in that. I'm going to tell you this. Primes Colorado against that USC team, there's going to be a lot of swag on that field. That's my number one thing, man. There's going to be a lot of bravado on both sidelines of that affair. I'm going to be very interested in that coming down the road. So
they play September the 30th at Colorado.
There you go, man. I mean, that is going to be must-watch TV. Wow. I'm supremely interested in that just because the dynamic right now and the vibes there. And so that should be really interesting. Anything else on your mind, man? I really appreciate the update and the call.
No, there's really no updates. I would say, on your running back thoughts, I think that Ohio State and Notre Dame are basically mirror images on the running back front. So I don't think it'll be much of a trickery, so to speak. it'll be interesting to see. I think the funny thing is this year it's like our strength is our defense. I think Notre Dame's strength is their offense. And then you go into like how the offenses are. I think our weaknesses are definitely on the exterior offensive line, your tackles. And our strength is in the middle of the offensive line, and it's kind of the reverse on Notre Dame's team. So it's going to be a really interesting game.
I like that. I like that. I agree with that, and that is interesting. And then it makes you're right on it, and it makes me wonder. Then is Ohio State going to try and pound the ball and kind of do some of that way, using that strength up the middle? Or are they really going to drop that guy back to let those receivers get involved, but expose themselves to Notre Dame on the edges? Like, we're going to have to see. And I still don't know for sure if Notre Dame's going to get home in those instances. Even if there's a little weekday, I don't know that I've seen enough against who we played to see our guys get after it enough to be able to do that. Oh, man, I can't wait. But see, we're getting ahead of ourselves. I know you're an Ohio State guy. That's why you're calling, but we're already ahead of ourselves. I don't want to act like we're not playing a game this week. They're played on fields and not paper for a reason. But it's hard to not get ahead of ourselves a little.
Well, I'll come back next week with the full report, and we'll get into it, and maybe I'll call in a couple of times to give you the weekly update.
There you go.
So,
there you go. Hey, man,
thank you so much, John.
Yeah, man. Hey, have a good one. Thanks for the donation and always being engaged here. Have a good time at the game, and and then we'll gear up because the media. Oh man, the media storm this is going to be if it lines up. I can't wait. It's going to be an exciting week for everybody.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Have a good one, buddy. Man, it bothers me how much I like him personally, even though he's an Ohio State guy. He's always just so polite and nice. It almost makes me mad. Like, I know that's messed up to say, but it almost bothers me that there's an Ohio State guy this nice that always calls in. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. I got an 814 and a 937 coming up. Let's do a chat or two here, see what we got. Pat says, text me one of your maps so I could get it off to Jeff for the tailgate. Yeah, man, we got people from all over, man. We got internet people coming that I met just from Twitter and doing this show. I have people from high school coming, people from the hometown, people from the wife's work. People from the country club Pat and I play golf at. We got people coming from everywhere. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. Even the trolls. I mean that. You could be a troll. You could troll me every day of your life trying to get my airline to fall out. And then you could show up at the tailgate, shake my hand. John, how's it going? I'll give you a beer. You don't even have to pay for it. I'll never even know it was you. You know, where's, who I haven't seen here in a while? I don't think it's a coincidence. Crying Belly? Where'd Crying Belly go? Right when LSU lost, I never heard from Crying Belly again. Where's he at? I don't know. Oh, man. 814, give me some more. 937 after that. What's going on, 814? Hello. What's the deal today? Everybody can't be sleeping. Let's try this again. 773's back. Hello.
John, it's Tom Frawley. How are you?
I'm doing good, Tom. I saw your your chat message. I don't want any details. It's none of our business. I just hope you're doing better, buddy.
No, it's fine. Yeah. I just, I got an autoimmune disease, and it just, every once in a while I flare up. And this one was a bad one. So I'm in Northwestern Hospital, and just sitting here waiting for MRIs and all results.
Dude,
and all
Tom,
that good stuff.
I love you, man. You're the only guy I know that could be sitting there waiting for an MRI, and you're calling to talk about Notre Dame football. Man, I love this group. Man. That is beautiful. Absolutely love it, man. You got your priorities right, Tom. I love you for it. That's amazing, brother.
That's exactly right.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love it, man. You can't beat this loyalty.
No, and it's been like that my whole life. You know, daydreaming, looking out a window, whether I was at school or at work. It was football season. I was wondering who's going to start who's going to start at defensive end, or who's going to step up big for the Irish this week,
Yeah.
And it's just something that never leaves your, it's never left me. But one of the things I wanted to talk about real quick is this, is that Marcus Freeman's, I think he's got these kids on the right track. I think they've all bought in to what he's selling, and what he's selling is good. Do I think they're going to go 10-2, 11-1, or 12-0? I don't know. I really don't know, honestly. But they're going to be fun to watch. And with this, I do have a feeling they're going to punch Ohio State in the mouth. I really do.
Yeah, it's Tom, listen. If ever there was a scenario where the circumstances
I agree.
practically and emotionally line up to favor Notre Dame for the first time in like 10 or 15 years, I actually feel good about how Notre Dame lines up in this situation with those circumstances, with the quarterback, you getting him at home, them having questions Ohio State fans are not used to having about their team and all that. If ever there was a time, this might be it.
Right.
This might be. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Central and look by them, but I'm just being real, man. If ever there was a year, it lines up now.
Right. And so when they renewed the series in 95, every time we've played them, Notre Dame has had good teams, but they've not been complete teams. This is the most complete team that they will face. That will face an Ohio State team.
And the other thing, Tom,
Tom,
here's the other issue, man. I was thinking about this late last night. Here's the other issue. We are so used to automatically, when we have a big game on the schedule and you're looking at it, starting out by going, well, we automatically know we're at a quarterback disadvantage. Like that has been our starting point. In almost every single one of these environments, you're starting with the bullet point of how are we going to overcome what our offense isn't and what our quarterback can't do to win this game anyways. It is a totally new mindset to be entering the game thinking of it the other way.
Yeah.
That is my favorite part of this whole thing is that part, that you feel confident that you have a guy you're proud of and that you think can make those plays. And damn it, we waited forever for that.
I couldn't agree more. And then there is also the component of Jared Parker putting in some wrinkles. Now, he tipped his mitt a little bit against North Carolina State. There were a few series where they went 21 personnel with the two backs and there was one time it was Merriweather, Tyree. It was, I think they had Jordanian Price and Stays all lined up. I mean,
that's a lot to worry about, Tommy. That's a lot to worry about.
It is.
Yep, I love that. And Notre Dame has not been able to have that many weapons that legitimately scare you, that are honest to God options in these big games. That's another thing I see being different is Notre Dame has more guys that can burn you that you have to worry about as a defense. That is a new feature at Notre Dame, and I welcome it with open arms and a big open Irish heart.
I do too. And I think, and that's what keeps us competitive. That's what keeps us in the game. And it's just, it's an exciting time. I've never been more upbeat about. I haven't been this upbeat at Notre Dame since 1993.
Yeah,
I really have.
There's legitimate reasons for that. And so again, I really feel awkward getting too far ahead of myself, but that is a moment where Notre Dame, there are legitimate reasons Notre Dame could feel good entering that ball game, and that is a new dynamic, and it's going to be very, very exciting, and the world's going to be watching, and so it is going to be something. But I still want us to take care of business this week. Make sure you're healthy, nothing dumb happens. Get in the work you need to get in. Tom, what would you like to see Notre Dame work on here to maybe a final tune-up before Ohio State? I'd like to see those wide receivers gain more big play confidence. That's one thing.
I would too.
I don't know how much of the line play you could judge in this game, or maybe you look for some technical things above my capabilities. What are you looking for here?
Well, I want to look at the linebacker play, number one. I want to see first of all, I want to see who's stepping in for Bertrand. I'd like to see Drake Bowen get his beak wet, other than special teams this week, and see what we really have there. Because I'm a believer that we're going to need all hands on deck against Ohio State and Southern Cal. The other thing I really want to see is, like I talked about, I want to see some full set backfield, some of those juice backfields that they could put in. They're going to have to get the most dangerous, they put the most speed and most talent on that field. That's what I'm looking for. Now, will they show that against Central Michigan? Probably not. I think they're going to run the football really well. And let's see how far they've progressed from last week to this week, cleaning up some of that. Because they run that buck series where they're pulling both guards. Mm-hmm. It's a buck sweep. So I think you'll see running that a little bit more. And I want to see Angeli. I want to see peanut butter Angeli. Throw the pill, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. I like it, man. I like it. I just think this team's a little different, and you're starting to see the talent increase and the depth and the amount of guys that Notre Dame has that can hurt an opposing defense. And it isn't a finished product, but I think you could stress Ohio State with the tight end play we have and multiple of those backs, and then that will help the receivers. I hope Parker's finding ways to be able to present Ohio State with all these different features and have them worrying, where am I going to get burned? Is it a little flare to Tyree, or are we going to the tight? I'm already envisioning what I want that plan to look like. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the key. Is Chris Tyree. I really do. I think if they're going to have if they're going to come out with a W against the three marquee games, Tyree's going to have to play a part in all those. But I just pray for that kid's health.
Yeah. And
we'll go from there. Listen, I got to cut. Thank you very much for all the well wishes, and go Irish.
There
and
you go.
We'll talk to you next week.
Tom, take care. God bless you, man. And thanks for thinking of me, even laying in the hospital there, old Gipper style. Tom's laying there waiting for his MRI, and then I come in and he's sitting there, and they're going to do these tests and stuff. And he just leans over and he says, "John, get on your show and tell the team to win just one for Tommy." You know what I'm saying? And not Reese. This one, different one. Oh, I'll get right back to the calls. 814, if you're back on, I'll get to you next. 937's been waiting a while. I'm gonna punch him up, and then 814. I got a 419 as well. 419 is gonna be on the line. Somebody put. I already breezed by it. Somebody put. John, did you put a bid in to get Brian Kelly's shoes? Did you guys see this? I trolled him on Twitter for it. Brian Kelly had a video. You know how we do the walk to the stadium with the team, and everybody lines the sidewalks and the team walks in and everybody lines up. Well, Kelly's doing that for LSU, and he's got some custom-made LSU tennis shoes that some designer makes with adding the emblem or Coach Kelly's shoes or whatever. So he's walking all day in those shoes, coaching in those shoes. And then he puts on there, you could bid to win my shoes and you could have my shoes. Bro, I don't want your sweaty hoof LSU shoes. Who in the hell wants to donate money and you get Kelly's sweaty shoes? Who wants that? What's next? Is he going to go in 100-degree LSU heat and coach and then put his undies up for auction? Nobody's interested. Unbelievable. Who wants Kelly's used sweaty shoes? Who wants anything Kelly has clean, not sweaty? Just asking. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just asking. Oh, 937. What's going on today?
Hey, John. I want to talk about the NC State game a little bit here.
Okay. Yeah, let's mix it up a little bit. Here, let me ask this to start with. I'm sure it's where you're going. I would like to know if you feel better about it or worse about it the further we get removed. When you look back at everything that happened, do you feel better about it or do you have more questions than answers? I'd love to know.
I think we all feel a little bit better about it as we get removed from the game because, you get to watch like the condensed version of the game and stuff. It's hard to feel the flow of a game that had such big breaks, and all that kind of stuff with the delays and then also just the different versions of like the field. I feel like, I look at Estime and I look at him like running in the first quarter and he looks a little straight up, he looks like he was unsure of his footing a lot, So in the first quarter, he didn't really break any tackles, but as the game went on, he broke more tackles and he looked like he was running more normal. The smaller running backs, like I thought Jadarian Price looked really good, but he runs lower to the ground, and just like the way he runs looks like the sloppy field didn't really, the wet field didn't really bother him as much. I feel like it bothered Estime at first. Also, I think we ran just the same vanilla stuff to start the game off, just to kind of like, well, we're just going to kind of test out NC State. Are they legit, or not? Are we just going to steamroll them or not? That's how I felt that's why we went 3 and out first couple of times. Also, I've never seen so many I know everybody's complaining about the referees with the calls that were called, but there was a lot of calls that could have easily been thrown in our favor with pass interference or at least defensive holding and stuff like that on some of the third downs. So, and those didn't happen. And NC State fans who think that they were in that game, they were fortunate to be down, 24-17. They're very, very fortunate to be at that place because it could have easily gone the other way. They fumbled the ball 3 times and got all 3 back. All right. Let's not forget that one.
Yeah.
So to me, like this game, Notre Dame had everything go against them in this game, and we still won 45-24.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen,
like everything went against them.
That's one of my big takeaways is my mind didn't change on the practicalities of like what I saw when I rewatched or let the results sink in. I think I was more pleased with operationally. I felt like they knew it was a tough environment. They knew they had to get this win and where it was at in the schedule, like good leadership. They knew what a big deal was. And they had all these circumstances and they just overcame it. And when it came down to like, who's going to make the next play to lean momentum, we got that play. That's a sign of a good team with resolve and good coaching and motivation and all of that. And I'm just more pleased with like how we reacted to that overall. And
you
know what I mean? Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
No, absolutely. And I'm very happy with Parker. Parker's game plan developed over the course of the game. I feel like, look, just in the prior games, we hadn't utilized fades. We hadn't really utilized play action fades, play actions much. But then all of a sudden, that was the bread and butter, for like, and also NC State fans who think that they're in the game. Like we got it. I think my brother put this perfectly. He's like, it was like an old time in the heyday Alabama win, where it was like, yeah, somebody stayed close for a while, but it just got to that point in the game where like they became unstoppable. And if the game kept going, it was going to end up being like 100. They were going to score like 100 points, And that was the case with Notre Dame. There came to a point where that NC State defense just could not stop us. We became unstoppable. And like if we were going to play another quarter, we were going to score 3 touchdowns that next quarter. That's just how the game was going.
Yeah. Yep.
Now,
I'm with you. But now You're talking about like Parker and some of that. Here's what one of my biggest notes of intrigue for the early portion of this year will be. I need to see when we're playing Ohio State some wrinkles. This is like the first real test. I want to see what Parker has in his pocket that is going to come out against Ohio State. Like, you have your bread and butter that you know is your backbone and that you're going to lean on. But I want to see some stuff. Draw it up. You have a lot of weapons on offense. For once, I can say that. I feel like we have a decent amount of some weapons here. You got to put them in a position to be able to stress that D.
Now, I find it interesting. Like, you look at our team. Let me back up here. I watched the guy break down our offense against NC State. And I was kind of like wondering, as a fan just watching on TV, you can't see all the routes that wide receivers run and stuff. So you're not exactly, you're not seeing it the whole field when you're just watching the game.
Yeah.
And I watched somebody break down the film a little bit, and I was wondering if this was the case. When you look at the routes being ran and stuff, we are not running routes where we are asked. This isn't like Jimmy Clausen with Golden Tate and Michael Floyd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, you're gonna go beat your guy. Those are not the routes we're running, and I think that's also why you're seeing nobody on this team has a huge share of the receptions. Okay.
Yeah, and that could be good and bad. I've seen Notre Dame people write and speak about this today about like. Or you would like to have a clear number one go-to dude, but is it better to have that and then a bunch of like lower dudes or a bunch of dudes that are all pretty damn good that you could spread the ball around and have a few number twos? Like, where does that end up putting you ahead or behind, I guess?
Look, it's tough. It's really tough to defend well-designed plays. I think we all agree with that. And the thing that I'm impressed with Parker is that he's not trying to feature somebody who shouldn't be featured. I don't think we have a wide receiver that should be featured.
Right.
I think we all kind of agree. Like I don't think Merriweather is a guy who, like, if we were just trying to force feed Merriweather, I don't know how good we would be. If we were trying to force feed Thomas, I don't know how good we would be.
Yeah.
So I think they're just realists. And they say, well, let's just have some actual plays.
Yeah, everybody run a reasonable route and then have trust that Artman's going to be able to find it behind the line that can protect him, right?
Like these routes make sense. You can see, and also we have a really good quarterback who understands what he's looking at. Yeah. Which also kind of tells me maybe having an actual quarterback coach is also helping all this out too. And,
Imagine that having an actual dedicated guy with them on every series, like going, I love it. I love Gino. I just love it. I love when they zoom down there, even if something good happens, he's there working with those guys. And what are we going to, I don't know why, but it matters to me. And I love what I'm seeing.
Hey,
I love it.
Too well with Alabama didn't do too hot. That's all I got to say.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
But Tyler Horka, he had a really interesting stat. Because I know a lot of us are saying, we need more sacks. We need more sacks. I mean, Brennan Armstrong threw the ball 47 times. You can only get, yes, there should be more sacks when somebody's throwing it that much. But also, you can only, pressure a quarterback so many times when he's throwing the ball 47 times. There's going to be some times where they do their job too.
And then you know what else too? You know what else with that? Also, a part of that was they wanted to kind of contain him so he couldn't get loose. Right. And the way they were doing, kind of not wanting to over pursue or whatever with that, and then let him have a lane. Right. So I've been seeing film of them saying Notre Dame fans worried about all the pressure. Some of this was designed to be able to contain him and put him in a box there so he couldn't do that. So I don't know. I'm not good enough with X's and O's to be able to break all that.
Here's the interesting thing, John. Here's the interesting thing. They have a stat for rushing the passer, what percentage of the time are you actually causing the quarterback to
the havoc rate?
Hurry up, right? We're fifth in the nation. Okay. in that stat.
Yeah, but
in,
who
like,
you
pressure.
played, that's what it's
No,
going to be.
no.
Yeah.
Hold on. The number one team is UCLA. Okay, but the common thing that us and UCLA have is that we are tied for fourth in interceptions. So what I'm trying to get at is that our pressure on a quarterback, making a quarterback nervous and hurrying up, throwing a 50-50 ball we're not getting sacks out of it, but instead of sacks, we're getting interceptions because we have such a great secondary that we're forcing them to throw the ball. Like, look, why would you throw it? Why would you throw a 50-50 ball at Benjamin Morrison?
Yeah.
He got picked off.
Yeah.
Benjamin Morrison dropped another one.
Yeah.
Like, we could have 4 interceptions. I guess like that's like the thing. The quarterback is having to throw a pass he doesn't want to throw, or he would be taking a sack. And I know some people are pretty hard on Brennan Armstrong, but like, look, this guy is, whatever. He's like 5 years or 6 years into college football, and he's thrown a ton of yards and stuff. Like he is. I'm telling you this right now. He is better than the Ohio State quarterback. So if you can pick him off 3 times,
man, I don't know if the Ohio State people would agree with you on that. I was seeing tweets last night. Oh, McCord, can he get in the Heisman race in a few weeks? I'm already seeing those tweets from Ohio State people.
Let's try play somebody else other than Youngstown State. All right.
There you go.
Like he didn't. He had zero touchdowns and 1 interception against Indiana.
Yeah.
So, but I think I want to say it now. I think we're gonna beat Ohio State. I listened to some of the Ohio State guys talking. They do like McCord. They don't think he's the problem. That's worse. That's actually worse. The fact that they don't think the quarterback's the problem with this team. I've listened to several different ones. They're all like, yeah, we like McCord. We think he's good. That's scary. That's like,
Yeah.
That's like last year if we said, the mini guy out there,
Pine.
Oh, he's fine. He's not the
Did
problem.
you call him the mini guy? Did you call him the mini guy? Is that what you just said?
Yeah,
the mini guy out there? Yeah, the little
You know.
guy out there. Oh, that's funny.
But if he wasn't the problem, that would have been really nerve-wracking. So an interesting thing is that Sam Hartman has been really good against the blitz this year.
Yeah.
And they apparently Ohio State blitz a lot. They say they blitz like 45% of the time they blitz.
Okay.
So that's gonna be gonna be interesting. I'm just saying, like, it's gonna be really interesting. I think it's one of those things where let's look at all the teams that were hyped who didn't have a quarterback that you brought up in one of your shows at the beginning of the season. Alabama and Clemson are 2 of them, and they lost already.
I think the chart was like 6 out of the top 10 teams have new quarterbacks that have never started or have barely have experience, and that is just, I don't care who you are. That makes things a little uncertain.
But, Clemson and Alabama already lost. So I just think that's I put it this way. Ohio State is not the team that they were talked up to be. And their wide receiver core, some of the people were a little delusional going into last season. They're a long way away from having Olave and Wilson and Njigba. Okay, they don't have those 3 guys anymore, and they don't have C.J. Stroud anymore. This offense is not what it was. And so it's going to come down to, like with us, we have 3 straight games of 40+ points. All right, I looked at our prior history, last couple of seasons. We usually only get about 5 games with 40+ points. All right. I think this offense, I don't know. Put it this way, they're not going to win 21-10 like they did last year.
Yeah.
And if we can stop we can stop an offense that's averaged 40
Man.
points a game and have it be 21. And I think this year's defense is better. This year's defense is better than last year's defense. We're not getting this. I know a lot of people like to point to sacks. This year's defense is going to have a whole heck of a lot more turnovers. I just think we're going to have a lot more turnovers, you know?
Yeah,
So
man, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, the roadmap's there, and we're going to do a lot of breaking it down next week. But, man, it's a really interesting setup here, and it should
with Central Michigan. With Central Michigan, I don't even see. I was an old time Spurs fan. They had old player, their stars were old. Okay,
yeah,
Tim Duncan, Ginobili Parker. They needed rest. They wouldn't even play those guys in meaningless games.
yeah.
Unless I guess they felt like they needed to work on something. So this game. You better not just be going out there and saying, "Yeah, we're just going to play them a couple of quarters," just to get up by some. I think if you put SMA and you put Hartman out there, they better be out there with a purpose and a function to practice something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, look, let's just. Yeah, I don't see a need for those guys to even play.
Yeah,
that also sends a message. That also tries to send a message to the team of look. I think it sends a message to the team we think we're pretty damn good, and we want to be ready for the big game.
Yeah. Work on what you need to work on. Get everybody healthy and out of there, and then we go from there. Hey man, thanks for giving me a call. Now look at the evidence this weekend, and then call me back with an updated thesis next week when we're in game week. All right.
All right.
Have a good one. Thanks for the breakdown, my friend. Thank you for the breakdown. 814. Give me some more. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Can you hear me, John?
Yeah, loud and clear, brother. So what's the deal?
There we go.
Are you coming to the tailgate to be the always Irish bouncer, the security guard, or what's the deal here? What are we doing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll take care of any ruffians that cause a scene. But the Miller Lights won't be very safe either, just so you know.
Yeah, there you go. That's fine. That's what I'm going to pay you in, man. I'm going to pay you in Miller Lights for everybody that you bounce out of there and body slam on my behalf if they get rowdy. I like it.
I love it.
Oh, man. So, hey, where are you at on all this, man? I feel this undercurrent of, yeah, we have a game, but we're really all thinking about the one that comes next. It's a little awkward for me to navigate in my own mind because I have some of that too, and I'm trying to fight the urge to get out of myself. Where are you at on this?
Well, I'm with everybody else. It's hard not to look forward to Ohio State. It's obvious, the elephant in the room. But I really want to see with Notre Dame, especially on offense, the receivers make a bit of a stride here. They need to get open, make plays, and gain some confidence because last week with all of the tight end action, it was eerily similar to Brian Kelly, Tommy Rees, Notre Dame offense to where they just have to rely on the tight ends to bail them out. And that is not what I want to see out of this team. Obviously, Hartman is a lot different than Drew Pine or Ian Book or anything like that. And he can get the receivers open, but especially a game like Central Michigan to where the receiver's going to outclass the secondary. We need to see them gain some confidence, get some production, and and just roll into Ohio State with a positive more than a negative.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, man. Figure out what you really want to accomplish, what you really feel like the staff feels like they need to work on before Ohio State. Figure out how to work it out, get ahead, get the guys out of there healthy. The path is here, man. The roadmap to all this is right there. You just can't let anything get you off the path this week. Not injuries, not dumb. You're sleepwalking, none of that. You got to come ready and accomplish some tasks.
Exactly. You nailed it. And, with the defense, I just want to see them keep doing what they're doing. Obviously, everybody's been saying they want to see more quarterback pressure, and I agree totally. But I want to keep seeing them be stingy, not giving up a whole lot of points. Lots of 3 and out, especially against this team where it's going to just be another huge disadvantage for the other team, for Central Michigan. I I don't want to see missed tackles, them, either running the ball a lot or busted coverages and guys running downfield. Then all of a sudden they're gaining a ton of yards on us. Like, Notre Dame's just totally outside.
Are you expecting Notre Dame to be real sharp? Like, I've thought about that. I wonder if there's going to be any little kind of dragon ass effect after kind of the tough situation last week. And then coming home and it's not a big brand name, opponent and all that. Like, I'm just wondering if there'll be any of that or maybe not. Like, I think Notre Dame would overcome that, within the first quarter, even if there was. I'm a little interested to see how we start out because it was a tough physical week with some atypical, challenging circumstances last week. I just want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Honestly, I think they're going to come out pretty sharp. I think they kind of realize especially on offense, they can't do 2 3-and-outs to start the game, especially against Central Michigan. I think that they're going to be a lot more dialed in this week. And I think Freeman's going to really have them in a good headspace. They're not going to be overlooking to Ohio State. I mean, I hope, this is just me speculating here. I hope.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to be pretty dialed in. I think they're going to handle business. I don't see this becoming an issue. Definitely not a Marshall Stanford situation. Just this team's different. Marcus Freeman is a lot more experienced now. We have Sam Hartman. He'll never allow something like that to happen either. So
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
And
dude, did you see Pat? He put a chat that just said he's bringing you, you're getting a designated Miller Lite cooler just for you. So you got to keep your security guards hydrated, man. That's just safety. No, that's just safety first. If you got a security guy, you got to keep them guys get some liquid in you. So we'll make sure you're taken care of there. Listen, man, one of the number one things that I am impressed with so far this year, and what a big difference I've seen from last year to this year, is the operation just all seems so much more put together, organized. We know what we're doing. We're on the same page. Like, everything is just, it seems and feels to me like a very well put together operation. And last year there was just a lot going on and a lot of moving parts and unforeseen circumstances and newness to work through. I feel like this operation's pretty damn tight, and I've been impressed so far with how everything's run, the resolve, the leadership, how we're entering these games, and everything. So the operation is pretty damn good, and I'm impressed so far.
I couldn't agree more. And it's funny you say that because my dad says the same thing. He's one of the most negative, pessimistic Notre Dame fans I've ever known. And even he is riding high on this team. He's expecting us to beat the hell out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
He says we're beating USC. And this is typically a guy that would never say something like that. He's seen a lot of Notre Dame football. And he says this team is different. There's a different swagger about him.
Yeah.
He said, even with Marcus Freeman, and he was breaking down about how aggressive he is at the end of a half, when he knows that if there's at least a minute, he's calling timeout to get the ball in Hartman's hands.
Yeah.
Kelly would never do something like that.
No,
ever.
No. Well, that's because,
so I really
dude, that's because when we had Kelly, if we were going to score, the drive had to be 14 plays, 8-minute drives, and like 3 minutes of play to get down the field, man. That's why. But it's just, listen, for so many reasons, this matchup of Notre Dame and Ohio State, it's just different. Notre Dame's entering that matchup in a totally different place than where everybody's used to them entering it from. The opponent, the media, fans, they are legitimately going to be entering it from a different position that gives them more of a chance to do something great. And I genuinely mean that from the evidence of what I've seen. I genuinely mean it.
Yeah, for sure. And one last thing about the tailgate before I let you go. I know you have another guy on the line that you want to get on here, but this will be my second time ever at South Bend. The first time I was there was way back in 1996. I was 5 years old, so I remember very little. But what I do remember, it was Lou Holtz's final year as Notre Dame's head coach, and they lost to Air Force. So hopefully this time around, we won't have a situation like that, and it'll be a lot more of a joyous one, because if it's anything like that, I'll never have to come back to Notre Dame ever again because I'm cursed.
Yeah, there you go, man. Well, welcome back. Are you staying in town? Are you going to do the Chicago thing and drive over? What are you going to do?
So I'm driving all the way from Philadelphia. It's going to be a long drive.
Wow.
I'm getting on the road tomorrow morning. I'm going to be stopping in Ohio where my sister and her fiance, we're going to stay with them the night. And then we're staying right outside of town in, I think it's Elkhart.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like 30 minutes outside of town. That's where we're going to be posted up at. That's where my grandparents always went. My grandparents had season tickets to Notre Dame for 20 years. So that's where I get my fandom from. That's, I was born into it.
Yeah,
but,
that's awesome, man. Hey, I'm glad. Dude, I'm glad it works out, though, of all the games, and you're going to be there, and then, you have a fun tailgate party with a bunch of people. It kind of all works out, man.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited. I can't wait. Friday, me and my girlfriend, Steph, we're going to be touring the campus, doing all the touristy stuff, really soaking it in.
Yeah.
And we'll be ready to party on Saturday.
Let me give you this advice. The best piece of advice I could give you is the second you get to campus, whenever that is, if you want to go to the bookstore, there's never going to be less people than the minute you get there. From every other minute, it's going to get worse. So if you want to do that, do it first, get it out of the way, because it's just going to get crazier as Friday and Saturday go on.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that information.
Yeah,
I'll be sort of write that down.
Yeah, just do it right away. Make your way over there and get in and out, because it just gets wilder. Even on a Friday, as the afternoon goes on, it starts getting busy on campus. So, and it may be less because of the opponent this week. It'd be different in Ohio State, but still, I don't like waiting in line. So get in that bookstore early. And then come find us, man. I don't know where you're parking. Did you figure that out?
Yeah, I got North Lot spots. So
well, then there you go,
I'm
buddy.
Gonna try to park.
You can't
right
miss
up with
it,
you guys. We're gonna get there early.
Yeah,
that's actually another good question. Are you guys like waiting in line before the lot opens, like before 8? Like, what time do you think you should roll up to the gate?
We're figuring we're gonna be there probably between 8:30 and 9. And so, okay. 8:30-ish, somewhere in there, maybe target for that. The issue for me is it's a little tough because we lose an hour. So, like, I literally have to leave at 5 a.m. Illinois time. 2-hour drive is 7 Eastern. That's 8 Eastern. So I literally am going to have to leave at like 5 or 5:30 in the morning, no matter what. So, and packing everything up. But we're thinking maybe 8:30-ish, somewhere Eastern in that ballpark. And get in there and get set up. But dude, you're going to be in the area. Look for my flag, or you'll hear me or Pat. One of those things will signal to you where we are.
Oh, I can't wait to argue with Pat. I'm going to bring up why Ohio State's the most important game this year.
Yeah, I like it.
And that'll get them fired up.
I like it. I want to see that, man. A good football argument over a Miller Lite for breakfast. Life can't get much better than that, my friend.
Love it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, hey, man, I want you to have a safe trip, safe travels. Bring your group over, and then we're very excited to meet everybody. This is going to be we're going to have fun. Oh, Adam's telling you, yes, a black Tremor F-150 truck, a big, like one of the big pickup trucks. All right. So if you see that, it'll be Adam.
Awesome. Well, I'll be combing the lot. I'm sure you won't be hard to find. I can't wait. I'm excited. And go Irish.
Perfect, man. Safe travels, brother. We'll see you in a few days. Have a good one. Mikey Pulls, my main security guard. I got to love it. 419, you're on the line. Good morning.
Hey, John. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, my friend. I'm excited. Notre Dame's undefeated. They're in the top 10. They have a winnable game this week. We're having a party on campus. And then the whole world kind of starts blowing up on us next week. Things are exciting, man.
Yeah, I live in Ohio, and I live in Northwest Ohio, and I have to deal with Ohio State fans, Detroit Lions fans, and Cleveland Browns fans every day of my life, and I'm about to lose it.
Yeah, the only thing you could do is the only way to shut them up is on the field, and Notre Dame's going to get their opportunity. That's it, man. Nothing else you say matters. You just got to go in there, play tough, knock them down a peg, and get this thing off to the races.
Well, I'm at work. I don't have much time to talk. I just wanted to call in for all of those people, like older people, or my wife is actually disabled. She's in a wheelchair or a boot at all times. And the lot right across the street from your north lot is where we always park. It's actually really cheap. It's ADA approved. It's where everybody with handicap stickers goes and parks. It's usually just it's me, literally, and then all older people. But they also let the families of the players park there because it's really close to the stadium, obviously. And so you get to tailgate with everybody. But I was going to say it's literally across the street from where the tailgate is, your tailgate is tomorrow. So if you're older or you can't walk as far and and you don't want to pay $100 for the north lot, the Bola lot right across the street is ADA applicable, and it's only like last year it was $40, but I think this year it's going to be 50.
Man, that's really good to know, though. And we do have a couple people coming that have a little trouble getting around. That is really good to know, and I'll be sure to pass that along. Thank you for sharing that, man.
And I brought the cake to the last.
Yeah, the cake,
tailgate.
Man. Hell yeah. Dude, that was amazing. Everybody's standing there like, what's going on? And we got a cake. It didn't matter. The sleet didn't affect the icing or nothing. We had a cake, damn it. It was beautiful. I love that
and
cake.
then like 5 minutes after I got there, the rain started pouring down. So this time it's supposed to be great weather. I told my girlfriend, I said, I don't care if you can't walk over there at first. I'm getting there early. I'll leave your butt in the car.
Yeah.
Like I said, she's got a bum leg. And so she's going to come over around noon, and then she's going to be I told her I'd probably have 5 or 6 fireballs in me by that time. So she might have to walk, and I might have to use her wheelchair. So we'll figure something out.
I'm not trying to laugh at that, but the way you said it so matter-of-factly, it was cracking me up, man. It should be fun, dude. But I couldn't believe that cake. Like, there's a lot of nice stuff you could do. Bring a case of beer, throw some cookies on the table. An always Irish cake. That was amazing, bro.
Oh, dude, wait until you see this year's cake. You're going to flip out.
Wait a second. We're doing a cake again? Are you serious?
Oh, yeah, I'm bringing a cake again. Don't worry about it.
Yes. Oh, I can't wait to see what you came up with for this decoration. This should be a good one. Oh, man, you're amazing. That is a wonderful, and you're actually very pro tip there for people trying to get in and out of there. I really appreciate it, man.
Well, everyone's so polite at Notre Dame. It's absolutely ridiculous. And we didn't know it the first time, so we didn't know like what to do. And I stopped and I talked to a couple of people, and they literally jumped in the back seat of my car and rode with me to the lot to find it. Everyone's just wow. Notre Dame's a spectacular place. Me and my girlfriend, we are more impressed with it every time we go. And she grew up an Ohio State fan, and now she's like, she can't even stand Ohio State now. So.
Yeah, and you know what we always say in my family, and my dad always says this too, always Irish senior, who will be at the tailgate, of course. He always says, we love Notre Dame and how classy they are and how put together everything is and just class and decorum and all that. But sometimes it's like, man, we're almost too nice on game day. You know what I mean? Like on game day, we're almost too accommodating to the other group sometimes. Like, I like that we're respectful and classy to everybody and everything, but sometimes I want us to have a little edge more than we do.
Yeah, I agree. Well, hey, John, I got to go. I got to get back to work. I'm paving the road out in BFD. I can't even believe I got to call you today. I figured we'd be no reception out here. So
hey, man.
I'm glad I got to call you and let you know that I'll be there Saturday morning.
Perfect, man. I'll see you. And thanks for the cake ahead of time, brother. Drive safe. We'll see you there.
Yep, we'll see you Saturday. Have fun.
Have a good one. Dude, I'm just picturing that guy. They're paving a road or something. I'm picturing him like, hope that all the traffic's getting like held up because he's on the phone talking about Notre Dame and all the construction traffic's going the wrong way and stuff. People are driving over fresh blacktop and stuff because he's talking about Notre Dame. Oh, man. I'm telling you, having a cake guy, you can't beat a cake guy. Like, that's a throwback. Having a cake guy, that ain't the easiest thing to bring to a tailgate. When you have a cake guy, man, you know you got a guy. It's hard to have a cake guy. Hard to have a cake guy, man. Melting, frosting, things falling on the cake, whatever. A lot can go wrong when you bring a cake to a tailgate. Oh, boy. 618, let's make it great. Let's make it great. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
What's up? How you doing, John?
Man, I got to tell you,
we
man.
inching closer, man.
I got to tell you,
We
man.
inching closer.
You were one of the first people that was buying into this Notre Dame team before the year. And I'll tell you, so far, you're right on track with your optimism. 3 games, none of them ended being close. We're trending up. Tell me where your mind's at, man.
Man, it's in a couple different places, man. I was in a group on Facebook today, man, and they were talking about USC, and I was like, man, they was talking about the Colorado USC game in a couple weeks, and I'm like, man, I don't know, man. Maybe Colorado could beat them in Boulder, man. I don't know. I mean, I think they will beat Oregon on the road, and it's a possibility they might beat SC at home.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. That ball game is going to be, man, can you imagine the egos that are on those sidelines when Prime rolls in there and it's USC and all that? There's going to be a lot of swag out there. Somebody, guess what? Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose, and they're going to get humbled. I am excited for that game.
Yeah, and that game is in Boulder.
Yeah.
This year.
Yep. Yeah, so that's exciting. That's really – now, let me ask you this, though, man. For Notre Dame's purposes, would you rather that they have a loss and they're vulnerable, or do you want them to beat them so they're undefeated so we have a chance to win that? And
I want them to be undefeated.
Yeah.
I want them to be undefeated, and I want this to be, man, some possibility that game might be a top 5 game. It all depends, man. Depends on if Colorado can knock off Oregon and Colorado lose to SC, you know what I'm saying, at home. And I want them to roll in undefeated, man. And it's definitely going to be a top 10 matchup because what I've been seeing out of Ohio State, man, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed at all.
Yeah. And listen, man, a lot of times people would say to you, well, you're a Notre Dame guy, so you're looking for reasons to downgrade them. But a lot of their own fans and media have these questions, man. Listen, it's just more instability on Ohio State's side than we are used to them having entering a big-time game. They just have more questions. So Notre Dame, now's your chance. This is going to be your chance to get them.
And we're not used to walking into that game with the best quarterback on the field.
Yep. It's all different.
Ohio State usually has a better quarterback, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. I mean, I got Ohio State losing 3 games.
Yeah, man.
I got them losing 3 games.
Well, that's fine as long as we're the ones who jumpstart it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fine with that. If they're going to have a bad year and they're going to lose to us and then Michigan or whatever, fine. As long as we start that trend, I don't care then. I mean, obviously, well, wait, but in an ideal world, we want to beat Ohio State and then have them run the table and then beat Michigan. That's probably what would help us the most, right? To make us look good.
Right.
Because then we would knock them off and then they would win the Big Ten and we would knock them off.
Yeah, and that's what I want to happen, man. You know, I want them to be able to beat. I want them to be able to beat Ohio State and Ohio State run the table, but I just don't see them beating Michigan. I don't see them beating Michigan or Penn State.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But, those are both going to be tough. I'm glad we're getting them first then. Start that.
Yeah, and I just don't – I mean, I love their receiving core, but I think I love our DBs better because of their quarterback. I mean, their quarterback is vulnerable. If we can get some pass rush on him, maybe we get the other guy in and take the ball away from him.
Yep, that's the idea. Now, let me ask you this. I don't want to be irresponsible as Notre Dame people can get ahead to Ohio State week yet. What are you looking for in Central that's going to help you feel better? Like Notre Dame is peaking as much as they physically can entering that game. Are you looking for specific guys to step up or position groups to step up and show you something? What are you looking for against Central? Or is it do whatever you're going to do, be healthy and get Hartman on the game? Like, where are you at with that?
Yeah, the defensive line. I want them to step up this week, get a few sacks going into this Ohio State game. So, because I'm looking at Ohio State line, their line is vulnerable. So let's just jump start it this week get after the quarterback this week and against Central Michigan, and then hey, we go into the next week, possibly, the favorite. Yeah, I don't even care if we're the favorite. I just want to win that game, get out of there, man, with a victory these next 2 weeks at home. Go to Duke and beat up on Duke and show them it's a difference in level of competition than Clemson. I mean, I even hope Clemson even run the table all the way into we play them, but I don't see that happening either. The Florida State game is in a couple of weeks. I don't see that happen.
Yeah, man. Listen. It just feels really good this year, man. As a Notre Dame fan, you feel like you have a team you could be proud in, and that's trending up, and you have an exciting quarterback, a position that's just been hard for us to have good play there for the longest time. This is a refreshing year, man. So far, it's really made people feel a lot more optimistic, and we needed that. Last year was a really rough year for the fan base, for the players, and a very tough first year for Marcus. And to see that we're emerging out of that is great. And you're going to have a big, big opportunity to change a lot of narratives in 2 weeks. So I need Notre Dame to take care of business real quick here Saturday.
Not just 2 weeks.
We get real.
Two of the next 4 weeks, we got an opportunity to change everything, to make the fans forget about everything that happened last year.
Yep.
Because winning makes everybody forget everything, man.
Yeah.
I think that, man, we get through after this week, 2 of the next 3 weeks, man, and here we go,
well,
man.
look at what you got.
A chance to run that table.
Look at what you got. You got a 4-week stretch of Ohio State, tough road game at Duke, tough night road game at Louisville, back home for USC. That 4-game stretch is going to probably dictate the high end of what's possible for Notre Dame. 1 week at a time, 1 war at a time. You just got to win these battles, man. And they're doing a good job so far. And I'm excited for this week. Stay healthy, take care of business, and then we crank up the hype machine, baby.
Yeah, and I don't really see Duke and Louisville being much of a problem as people say they are. I mean, I think, Duke caught Clemson on the first game of the season. Maybe if that game was played at the, in the back end of the season, maybe Clemson would beat them by 2 or 3 touchdowns. But yeah. They call them in the best moment, man. You got them first game of the season. You got them at home. You got to beat them.
Yep. Yep. That was it.
But
yep. So I don't know, man. This is getting exciting. Like we waited forever, man, all summer on these shows and everything. And we're looking at this schedule. This is the part of it where we're starting to get into like that main bulk that we've all been breaking down for like a year. And we're going to get some answers. So I'm excited, man. This should be very fun.
And I've been calling this since
you have.
I've been calling it since the summer, man, 11-1, but I'm going to call it right now, man. I think it.
Come on now. Yeah, listen to you. Listen to you. I heard that laugh. I heard that little laugh. I heard you laugh because you wanted to stop yourself before you said it. I like that.
Yeah, I think we finish up 12-0, man.
Woo!
I just don't. SC just don't play enough defense,
man.
And you get that game at home. That what can maybe swing it, man. Please don't sell your tickets, man.
No, I know.
Please don't sell the tickets.
Come on, man. Game. Don't sell the tickets. You can flip them for a profit if you want. Just make sure they go to Notre Dame people with money. Why is it got to be on their side? Like, make your profit, but don't sell it to them guys. So I don't know, man. This is going to be exciting. Notre Dame's in a good spot right now, and that is very rare for me to say at this point in every year. I like it.
Yeah, man. I think this is the road, man, and I've been calling it, man. Maybe if we get into the playoffs this year, just maybe, man, with this defense, because our defense is pretty good. It's just that we just need to get some pass rush,
Yeah. So, man, I don't know. It's hard for me not to get ahead of myself. There's just so much excitement already building behind the scenes here. But you said Notre Dame is going to be better than people think this year. And so far, I think they are. But they got to do it against some better competition. I'm also not getting all wrapped up into that ahead of myself. You got to do it against better competition, and that's coming up. But the good news is a lot of what I've seen already gives me confidence we'll play good against these better teams. So I'm excited about this challenge.
And Ohio State fans, I'm here to say, man, we got the best corners in the country, man. That is not going to fly, man. I don't care what he did
There you
against
go.
Youngstown State.
Yeah.
He still caught 2 passes for 18 yards against Indiana. That's not going to fly against Notre Dame.
Yeah. Man, I hope you're right, and I hope they get after that quarterback and cause some trouble. Hey, man, thanks for giving me a call on a Wednesday. Call me later in the week, couple days, all right?
All right, man.
Have a good one. You take care. Now, wait a second now. I got a 941. You're going to come up, but I'll be right back. I got to show you guys something. Mark's over here running his mouth. Hold on. Mark, I'm telling you, dog, you don't want none of this. You don't even understand the setup I have, Mark. I got my double paddles with the different thickness for my spin. So I got those paddles. I got different thicknesses to train with. I got the different sides. I want a sticky one. I want a little lighter one, depending on who I'm playing and how heavy-handed they are. I got a ping pong table in my basement that an extended relative won in the military. When overseas, he was playing in ping pong tournaments in all the bases, playing against everybody. And they said, whoever wins these tournaments, we're going to ship the ping pong table that's been overseas in these war zones. We'll ship them back to your house. And then if you live, it'll be there. So my uncle's the one who won all those tournaments on the bases. And then they sent him the ping pong table. So I honor that. I still got that old table from those battles. You don't want it. I'm telling you, you don't want it. Like intramural college championship, 4 years in a row, never lost a game. You do not want it. I'm just telling you, you don't. You don't. I got more spin than the mainstream media. I'm telling you, you do not want that. So I used to hustle people in college. I'd go to those bars. They'd have a ping pong table. I'd be hitting it off the table, hitting it into the net. And I got these cocky guys have a couple beers and then they want to play and I'm barely hitting it. And then they want to throw money on it. And then I start spinning it on them and it's over. So you don't want it. But if anybody's in the Illinois area, I will come to you and play you for money and we'll record it for content. Will not lose. Cannot lose. Never happened before. It ain't going to start happening now. You do not want it. You do not want that. I guarantee you, Mark. I love you, Mark, but we need to play now. And I'll record it. Public, I want it public. So if I'm talking crazy and I lose, it's embarrassing. It ain't going to happen. It's never happened. It still ain't going to happen. 941, let's have a little fun. What's going on? Okay, well, apparently 941 did not want to have fun. So whatever. Mark's saying this ain't it. Bro, this is it. You do not want it. Pat, you got to explain it to them that Mark's running his mouth about ping pong. You got to, I love Mark, but you don't, this is one where you don't go there, man. There's a lot of people that could beat me in golf. Like there's a lot of people that could beat me in golf, even when I was playing a lot and playing good, like, low single digit handicap. A lot of people can beat me in golf. Ping pong's a different story. You don't want it, man. In the lockdown, and I'm in an area where the lockdown was like they were making you lock down. Bro, I went so stir crazy. I ordered a Chinese table tennis training robot. And I literally ordered that robot and it came in the mail and you plug it in. And it has all these settings where you could dump 100 balls in this funnel and be on the other side and it will spin it and rotate it. There's like a wheel in there and it shoots it different speeds and different spins. And you put 100 of them in that funnel and you got to get them all. I trained that like for a year. I had nothing else to do. And I was doing that because what else you going to do? I was on the lockdown. But I'll take a video someday of that robot. It's amazing. That thing just shoots like 1,000,000 miles an hour. It's amazing. Yeah, dude, I played that robot all through the lockdown just to keep my hand-eye coordination sharp and all that stuff. Oh man. Yeah, I love ping pong. It's a great sport, great for your hand-eye coordination. But I will bet any amount of money against any amateur in that sport, and I will record it for content. And if I get embarrassed, I get embarrassed. Any amount. Any amount. Oh, Mark, you got to make a trip. We need to do a content thing out of this and set it up and record it and play. I would love that, man. We need to get some ping pong here, some competitive. Have people rooting against me, have people rooting for me, whatever. Oh, man. Going to be the last call of the day. Look who it is. It's Dr. John. Where are you?
You with me?
I got you. Do you got me? Are you at an airport?
Well, I can hardly hear you. I'm in the airport at Denver. Let me try something here.
Yeah, John, you must have a bad connection. You're dropping off, brother. Couldn't hear you on that one, but I really appreciate it. Yeah, Pat. The last thing anyone wants to see is John lose at ping pong. Would be messy. Yeah, there's a reason that I've gone through like 80 paddles in my life. I can tell you that right now. Like, there's a reason. Oh, man. You need to bring a ping pong table at tailgate. All it takes is a little wind, and then ping pong screwed, though. That's the problem with doing that outside is that wind. Oh, man. Pat, you got a good point. That's why I love bowling. I love bowling because there's attainable perfection. Even if you have your best round of golf, you're driving home going, there's 3 shots out there I left out there. I messed up. Bowling, 300's 300. You can't do any better. There's attainable perfection. It's like being a pitcher. You could throw a no-hitter. You could have a perfect game. But it is a good point. You bowl at 300, you're going to be mad because now you know you could do it. Why don't you do it all the time then? Come on. All right. This went a little sideways, but there is nothing I love more than a good ping pong discussion. Maybe I'll record a video of me playing that robot just so people could see how cool it is that it shoots all that stuff out. Yeah, that would be fun, Mark. We'll set this up. We'll talk about it at the tailgate. All right, everybody. I got some things to record. I got a couple errands to run, pick up some stuff for the tailgate. Everybody who donated, I really, really appreciate that a lot. Everybody come in. Let me know if you have any questions about the tailgate or have any of those needs or questions about anything. Supplies, anything you guys want to bring, we'll take. Like if you want to bring a thing of chips or some beer or whatever you want to do, that's totally fine with me. What's Pat saying? Remember when you walked up to 12, 1 under par, and you yanked your drive out of bounds? I do remember that. And I doubled 12 and I finished the 18 1 over. Yeah. Thanks for making me remember that. I was playing so good too. And I just under par and I saw that cornfield and I just had to yank it. I could have flared it 800 yards right and had a wedge in, but no. What does Johnny need to do? Just duck hook one and ruin your under par round. Anyways, thanks for putting that back in my mind, Pat. All right, everybody. God bless. Tom, say a prayer for Tom, our buddy calling me like the Gipper from his hospital room. Love you, Tom. Get better soon, everybody. Kent, our hearts are with you, too. Not sure if Kent's still in here. Got a lot going on. And so, Kent, we're with you, man. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for being here.